All right. Good morning once again. So sorry for the delay. At least we have 1 hour to be able to cover part of what we plan for this session. So welcome to Digitech Zeal. This is web development training session. We have been on how to create responsive websites using a technology or library called Bootstrap. And so far, so good. We have learned how to set up the Bootstrap and then how to work with the Bootstrap grid system. And then we are currently understanding different Bootstrap elements and their classes. In our last class, I think it was heading and the paragraph tag. Please, somebody should confirm that. I think it was heading and paragraph tag, right? Am I correct? I think we have sorted that. Heading and paragraph tag. In this session, we are focusing on, let's see if I can cover 2 of them. I wanted to actually cover 4 before. Once we have gotten to form and table, then we can now start, putting the entire website together. That will now form the final aspect of JavaScript, then before going to the back end. So we are looking at Bootstrap lists. Bootstrap lists. Now, if I may draw our attention back to the manual design, we all know what lists are. Can somebody respond? Can somebody tell us what is lists? Do you still remember what the HTML element we refer to as lists? Flourish, if you can hear me. Can you hear me, Flourish? Or Mrs. Oyikosi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm asking, do you still remember what is HTML lists? Because that is the element we want to style with Bootstrap. Do you still recall?
They are used to create lists now.
Okay, list is used to...
List of something.
Okay, like Flourish, first name.
Another.
Flourish,
okay, they are used
middle
to
name.
create list of something. They have example like other list, on other list, and define.
Okay, so let's say lists are for mentioning or listing items. So you are correct. Okay, so now it is that same element that we want to style or create this time around, but with Bootstrap version. Why? Because we want Bootstrap to make it devices friendly. We want Bootstrap to make it responsive so that we don't go to the extent of calling those individual elements and start determining their media query, how they are to respond on a certain device. All right, so let's define it properly again so that we'll get it right. Bootstrap lists classes. Remember, I told us that what we are actually focusing on here is their classes because we have already learned them from the manual section. So what are the classes that are used to make lists responsive? That is our major focus. So Bootstrap list classes enhances or enhance HTML lists to remove defaults, to remove default styling. all right, such as to remove default styling, align item, or turn, let me break it, or turn them into flexible, turn them into flexible UI components. UI components. Simple as that. Flexible what? UI components. What is the UI there? User what? Interface. User interface, which means that the ability for the lists to contrast or to adjust to different what? Devices. That is what we want to achieve. So let's quickly discuss the key classes. I told you need to pay attention to the key classes. So for the fact that we are saying the key classes does not mean that this could be the only classes. So in other words, we are narrowing it down to most of the words, the classes that are used to enhance the appearance of lists elements. So the key one, number one, we have dots. We have lists hyphen on style hyphen on style. Now, what is the function of this particular class when you add it to your list element? This will remove, hope you are making a note, this will remove bullets. I hope you still remember bullet, all those dots that we normally use list type none in the manual section. So adding this class automatically what? Remove them. That is what we are saying. Simple as that. I hope we are still together. So now let's create an example so that we can be demonstrating all this as soon as we finish treating them. So let me put my example here. So just like Flourish said that we have different types of lists. That is, there are different ways items can be mentioned or listed in our website pages. It's either you list your item using numerical what? Number or marker, or you use what? Bullets. So bullets are shapes. So now, but we know that we have UL and OL. So let's assume that I'm creating UL lists and I expand it. So the only thing I need to do now, so if I come here, just pay attention. If I come here and say LI, which I've already know for mentioning the item you are listing. So if I say the first item is, let's say computer training, that is the first item. And then probably the second item is maybe what will I put now? Okay, let me just mention this. Okay, system repair. System repairs. Let's say the next item is other services. So let's say this is your website where you are mentioning the list of services you offer, right? So you want them to be mentioned with what? List. Now, if we go back to the front end, let's see the default appearance when it is without the Bootstrap class. So you see this dot that came out now. Now, what we are saying is that if I want to automatically remove this dot, what I'm going to do is to come to the what? To the container, which is the UL itself, and say class, and then I will use what? Lists on style. So once I go back to the front end, you see that what those markers has gone. I hope you are following. Can I get a response if that explanation is clear? At least from one person. Are we following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is the application of that class. So we need to take note of the definitions I'm giving here. So let's go to the second one. We are still on what? Bootstrap list key classes that transform list content. So the next one is lists hyphen inline then hyphen item. So this is one of the key. So what will this one do? This one will display item in what? Inline. I will also know that, okay, let's say items inline lists. All right. Now, remember from the manual session, I told us that we have two categories of HTML elements. If an element is not a block element, it is what? An inline element. So if not because of time, I will have tested our knowledge whether we can still differentiate inline from what? Block element. But just to assist us, inline are elements that display on the same line. So if I have one element like this, and I have another one by the side, and I have another one by the side on the same line, that is what? All of them are displaying what? Inline. But if I have elements like this, and I have another one what? Under it, I have another one in a new line, I have another one under it, that is block. So block elements display they display in a new line, and they take the entire word space, and they are usually displayed with 100% width. And that is why each time we call div during the manual session. Each time we call div. You notice that the div was taking the full width. There are some elements that we call, and they were taking the full width until we reduce it before another element could display on the same line. So that's to tell you that what? That element is a block element. An example of inline elements are images anchor tag. Basically, they are inline. That's why you notice that if you call, even when we were creating from input tag, remember that all those input labels, we were wrapping them in div because we needed to convert them from inline to what? Block element, or we want them to display what? Under each instead of displaying side by side. So that's what we are saying. So now if we add it to the elements, let's say we add it to this class. Now remember I said you can have multiple what? Classes. So which means that I want to maintain the icon disappearing, and I also want to display it what? Inline. So I will just space and then bring in this particular one, which is what? List what? Inline item. So if I go to the front end to see the appearance, what we are seeing here now, let's see, this is how you check if you are actually what? Are making impact.
So the bullet has been.
No, we have removed the bullet since Flourish. That means you are not here. We have removed the bullets with just this. Now, I want us to go back and check. You see the appearance of it now. We want to know whether it's actually making impact. That is what I'm testing here now with the other one. So now let me bring it back. What have I done now? Okay, so it's like this instead of sorry. So let me bring it back and then go back to the front end to check. Any difference? Actually, there is no difference. Now, let's allow only it, because sometimes when you are using multiple classes, one could be conflicting the other based on the way they are structured. There are some that probably what that other one has, they already have the practice, so you don't notice any difference. But I just want to confirm whether that is the case. So let's remove this one and leave only this one. Let's go back there and check. You can see that what it make no what impact. Now, this is another thing again you need to know. You know, Bootstrap has different versions. Like this very one that I installed now is Bootstrap 5.0. So we have Bootstrap 4.0, we have Bootstrap 3.0. So when you notice that some classes are not responding in a particular function, it means, sorry, in a particular version, that does not mean that it doesn't exist. It could be that the upgrade has eliminated it. All right. So what you need to do now is for you to research, okay, if this is no longer obtainable, is there any alternative that was provided or it was totally what eliminated? Because we expected it to act, but now I have a version that says it should be only this without putting the item. So I want to try this, whether this is going to make any impact. So no impact. All right. So we are going to skip this very one because it's not giving us any updates from what we have. But the primary function of it, if it works for you in any version, is that it's to display its words inline. That is, this item now, this particular one will come here. Why this one? Everything will just be like horizontal. Okay, you have a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
That's working
Now,
for
what
you.
of if we put this list inline item, put it inside the list itself, that is the li, like after putting it
Okay,
in
okay,
dash.
yes, I think you are correct. You are correct. But we have to thank you for that observation. Let's try that option and see. That may just help us to work. So if I have list inline here first, let me have it inline here without putting item. So you have the principal one inline like this. So let me check. Okay, so we have it inline like this. That has removed what? That has even done the job of that on style, right? Now we now come inside here. This is where we'll now do. Let's try it here like this. Let's say class, class. Just that. Consider it to be a kind of stress because you have to start giving it to each of them. Let's say class, and then we put that list. We choose the one that say what item. So let me try and copy it and paste it for at least 2 of them or 3 of them, just to see. So Control C. Control C. B. So let's go back there and see. Okay, perfect. So you can see this one work. But remember the format. You should put what? Okay, let's even try it without putting. Let's use the other option, the on style, and see if we are going to still get it that way. On style. On style. Let's see. Okay, so we have the choice of using two classes to remove the what's it called, the markers. That you use on style or you use what inline. Then you add it to what each of these. So I hope that is clear now. Thank you very much, Nourish, for that. So we have another class that we can also involve here, which is we are still looking at the key Bootstrap lists classes. So we have another one, which is I don't know if I've given us definition on that inline. So this one is item, that's to display what item inline. Then we have this other one that I use. Let me put it in the notes, which is list-online, so that you get the notes. So primarily, the work of it is to display what item horizontally. So we can say this is for horizontal horizontal lists. That is what we got there now. So that is why I will advocate you should put online, because it might not make any impact on the laptop, but when it comes on phone, this place that we replace with on style might not work on some device. So it's better when you are doing it, you put the one that supports that inline you are targeting, to avoid it not working with some devices. So I can just decide to what to stay inline. Stay inline. All right, so we have, since we have already implemented it, let me just go straight to the fourth one. The fourth one, which is going to be the last one under this, is list group. We have list group. So the list group is actually for advanced style lists. Advanced style lists. All right, advanced style list. So let's see the application of it. Let's see the difference. Let's look at the current appearance. So let's say I want to remove this, or let me still leave it inline. So we'll try it for both inline and block. So list group, let me just put this one. So if you go back to the front end, you can see that automatically return it to what? To block form. So it is actually used also alongside with the on style and others. So now though we cannot actually check the responsiveness now, because let me see if I reduce this to mobile view, we should be able to check, but definitely it's going to be responsive. It's going to be responsive on mobile, both on mobile and other devices. So any question, because I think we can still take another one. We can still take another one. Hello. Any question on list? So we don't have much on list, so we can go to the next item. I want to see if I can finish table. I want to add another one.
No question, sir.
Okay, so
Sir, please go back. We are still writing.
Okay. So once we are done writing, let me know.
Okay, sir. Yes. Yes.
It's very cozy. Hope you are with us. Are you still here? Okay, maybe she's not sure. All right, so let's take another one. Let's add another element to be able to finish it. And that will be BS table. BS table. BS table. So let me take off this for now. BS table. So like I was saying, we should have also know what table is. Remember, I told you that table is a two-dimensional structure element in HTML, which is used to present data in vertical and horizontal axes. Right? So we understand table already. And since we understand table, so we are going to create a table. But let's look at, let me also add the definition. Don't want to, because somebody that have not done the manual may come across this video. So let's say BS table classes. So we are also focusing on the classes. Provide clean, responsive and styled tables. Let me take it down. With style table with minimal effort. That is, with little effort, the table will be improved and styled. Also improving readability. Readability and user experience. And user what? Experience. So simple as that. So if you want to save yourself from all those design, you can just leverage on Bootstrap what table. So let's quickly look at the key table key classes. Classes you must know. So the first one, number one, we have table itself. We have table itself as a class. So that table is actually the base class. Remember, I've explained what we mean by base class. Can somebody tell us what is base class? No, there's no time, but let me see test us on this. We have explained that before. What is base class? What is base class? Okay, are you here, Flourish? Flourish, what is base class? Okay, are you sure you have gone through all the videos? That would be probably somewhere in the third class or the second class. Okay, let me just help us out. Now, okay, now what I was saying is this, when we created, I will use practical to illustrate there, you identify base class for me. Let's say I have BTN button. And then, I say click me. So, and I come here and I say class. Then I do BTN first. Then I now do BTN success. So, what is base class here? I believe with this example, this was exactly the place where I explained it. Looking at it, what is base class?
The first BTN.
Good. So, the base class, which means what? That's what why do we have it? That is what I want to know. Why do we have it? Why is it base class? I said because that is the one that carries what? That element responsiveness media query. You know that media query is written, just that we are not seeing it.
Yes, yes.
Good. Media query is written. So if they ask you now, is media query attached to this class or to this class? Where do you think they must have styled with media query? The BTN. That is what makes it what? Base class. And I told us that any element that you are using, you must use the base class. Otherwise, you are not going to inherit what? The responsiveness function, which is the media query. Okay. So what we are saying is that if we declare a table, let me go down and create a table and then use that base class. So remember the syntax of creating our table. We always start with, okay, let's assume that the structure I want to use for the table, I want to wrap the table in another container called div. So if I come here and say div and I open it up, just because I want to create my table inside, and I class that div, and I class that div table. This is another class, so another class, because I'm using table what? Responsiveness or responsive, table responsive. So the emphasis is not on this. I just have to have this container because I want to put the table inside. Now, or you can as well create the table directly. So let's go to where we have the table. So this is how we declare table in our normal manual session. Now, if I come here and assign class called what? Table. If I assign table to this alone, and I create, let me create, what will I create here now? Let me create some table. Let me create table what? Table head, so that we can have full display. Table head, because I want to isolate some things at the top. Inside the table head, that is where I will have my TH. I believe you still recall all this. So let's say I have first name, just to save time. I think these are the heading. Right now, sorry, we can start with this. We can start with the TH. So let me just temporarily cut this first for me, put it somewhere. We have to have TR, which is what? Table row. So we have to have a row that is holding all the heading that we're about to create. So those heading can be inside the TR, the first row. So I'll now do another TH. Let's say what? Courses, for example. Right now, let's go to the front end. Let's go to the front end and see the appearance with the table class and without the table class. So you see how it looked like. You can see the way it distributed it very well. See the way it adjusted the width itself. But now, let me go there and remove this class and see the impact we are going to have. So if I go back now, did you notice any difference? Hello, did you notice any difference as we have not assigned that table? Yes, you can see that nothing happened. Now, the moment you add that table, that's what we are saying. The moment you add this table is the base class that what? That will add that responsiveness. You can see the way your table is properly what? Styled automatically. So if I come here now, for example, let me, this is what will be in the T head. So that T head, no, it's different from the TH. That T head, you are trying to say that the part at the top before the table body. So now you cannot come outside this. Outside it, that means you are closing the head. Then under it now, before you now do table body. It's possible that we did not go this way when we were learning the manual, but this is the Bootstrap structure of table. And that is, you can use that manual method, the one I taught you. But the only thing is that things will not be segmented the way we are segmenting them. That is just it. Now, this T body, it means you want to define the table body. The table body is where you write the content, like all those TRTT. Now, inside this table what body, I will now create what? Table row again. Inside table row, I will now envelope what? Table what? Data, which is table record, which is what? TT, so that we can have a full table and see the full appearance. So let's say his name. This person's name is John. And then let me have another TD. And then this TD calls Python. All right, so let me have, so you can see that all these records, I'm taking that as a person. So I cannot come under here now and say, okay, another TR, then inside it, I have another person's name. So what I'm trying to do here now is that I'm trying to capture the individual people with all their information at once. So which means that this person, John, the program is doing is what? Python. Then this is another name. You can see that I'm wrapping that inside another row. So I can say this is what? Rita, and this person is offering a web development. Is offering what? Web development, for example. Now, if I go to the front end now, you see the way our table is arranged. Can somebody tell us, in the manual section, before we can have only the horizontal line, we have to call the border line and say what? Bottom border. I hope you are still with me. before we can even get it like this. And you can see the way everything is properly arranged. Now let's check the responsiveness. Let's try to reduce this page now, whether everything is responsive. You can see that what is responsive, everything is contrasting. So even if you are using a mobile phone, once it reduces to that size of that device, everything will still be in line, everything will contrast. But if you try this without using Bootstrap or without manually adding media query, by now, this table will have what cut somehow in a way that things will no longer be properly what arranged. I hope we are following. Let me get a response. Hope you are getting it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, let's look at, so that is for table at the base class. So let's go and take other classes and see how we can use them to fine-tune the table appearance. So the next key class is what we have, table hyphen strip. And what does this do? This is to give the table zebra strip. We are going to see it now. Zebra. What we call zebra. Zebra what? Strip. Zebra what? Strips. Now, let's look at the application so that we can see how it's being used. So I can add it to this. I'm adding it to this. I want to have two of them. Then I will now say what? Table what? Strip. You can see this one that I use now is for that one is for the whole container to be responsive. So you can follow this structure when you are writing the note. So if I add this one here, I add it here, and then let's go to the front end and see what we have. So you can see, let me see if I remove. Did you understand what happened now? Did you see what happened?
No.
Look at it. It gives it alternative now. This one is having background. This one is not having background. If I have another record, okay, let me show you.
Yes.
You know the road now, where they put that zebra icon. Maybe you have some demarcated part white
Black
and the other color. So that is the zebra. That is the concept we are using here. So let me multiply. Let me increase this record. Let me have up to like. Let me add another record and see the color. So this is just like you having an alternative. We call it alternative row. Alternative row. So if I go back to the front end, you see it now. The next one will now be what? Who can suggest the next background color of the next row?
White.
White. Good. That is what we're talking about. So this is called zebra strip. So if you have this thing, if you want this type of style, then you can go ahead with this. Now, don't forget that you can also apply your manual if this current appearance are not up to what you are looking for. Don't forget, you can now borrow your manual skill to better beautify it. In fact, this is one thing you must know. You see, you can use your manual, the way you design table there. If you feel that one is giving you the best appearance, you have the flexibility to use color, to use, the line type and other. Then just make sure that table, just add only this to it. That is all. Don't use every other one. Use your manual, which means, can somebody tell me why I will add only this and I will still get the work done? The table will still be responsive. Can you tell me the reason?
Because it's the base.
Because the base, because it's the one that is carrying the main responsiveness function. So once this is able to make that table responsive, I can now use other classes as I like, so long the table will be responsive. So that you don't think that you are forced to have all your table must have this appearance. No, this is just the Bootstrap version. And even if you deepen your research to search for other property, other classes, you'll be able to beautify it further than this. So we have We have another one. Just trying to see if I can finish table. Sorry, I'm a bit rushing possibly. So we have table border. Border. We have this. So what we this do? This we what? We border the table. This we add. This we add border. We all know border now. Border line to table. This we add border line to the table. All I need to do here is just for me to say, okay, you just add it, border, just that. So if I go back to the front end, based on, let me remove that strip because there are some that you have to remove before because that particular strip comes with border. So where you have it, you may not see the impact of the one you are introducing. So let me go and check again now. You see, these are the borders already. These are the borders. So now, but I did not type it very well. This is not what we are expecting. So I'm supposed to type it like this.
There's no.
I'm supposed, yes, because it doesn't add anything. I'm supposed to type it like this. Table, what? Border. Like this.
Border.
Yes. Table hyphen border. If I come here, you see that now we have the vertical line. No, we are not having the vertical line, but the other one comes with what? Horizontal line, which means it has horizontal border. So with this, you have automatically what? Added your border. So that is the work of this very one. So we still have some. Let me see. So we have table hyphen border. Okay, that is one way. Sorry, yes, that's it. That is what I want to add is the table hyphen hover. Thank God that we already know. So this is to add this. We add this. We add what? Over
effect.
Good. So you can see that. Is it really professional? Do you see all the efforts of the manual were wasted? I'm asking you.
It's not wasted because we use it to know what we are doing.
Good. You can see that you are the one. Oh, you have done hover effect. That is why. Because if not, I would have, been explaining what is hover effect and all of that. Good. That is why we look as if we are taking time. I know some of us are already saying that we are wasting time. That I was hearing people conversation, even though I was hearing people were saying that time, but people were not hearing me. So it's all good. Web development takes time because if what some persons will do is that they will just do one of few things. They will not create projects in HTML. We did a lot of projects there. They will just come to Bootstrap. So it is in Bootstrap that you will now do create every project. So if we have gone that way, by now we will have finished the program. But I wanted us to complete that as a version that even if you don't want to use Bootstrap, then you can just depend on it. And not only that, like you just said, you can see the way we are understanding all these things faster because we have already programmed them manually. So this is just like a helper. So now let's look at this over. So if I add over here, so the same thing, let me just copy since I still have table Control C, Control C, Control V. Let's say I have, let me just add over to it. So if I go to the front end, I hover, you see the hover what effect once you are on a particular row. So all this makes your website and everything is very responsive. Let me even check it on mobile. Let me inspect and switch to let me try different devices and see. You can see how everything is compressed. So let me just toggle around some other devices and see. You can see, no matter how small the table is, what contrasting, it's fitting to the size of that device. That is the beautiful part of what Bootstrap. Okay, so all right, so we still have one, which is still have two. Though I've already used this one, but I'll not give us the note of it. So let me just take this one already. That's number 5, which is called table -dark by looking at the key. So what will this do? This will give us what? Dark theme. That is color. So this will give us that. It will give us that. I hope you are following. So now let me add it here and see what we have. That is table what? Dark. This is so equals is still here. So let's go. You see what we have now? We have this automatically. You know, that is what you will have called table background color. Then the text. See one good thing that happened here. As it assigned background color black, what happened to the text? The text automatically what? Reverse to what? White. So I'm no longer the one that will have said, okay, the text should be white. You can see there are so many things that have been what? Pre-built. All right, so when we get to a color, there are other techniques we are going to use. So we're going to be discovering them as we take these elements one after the other. So the next one is, which is 6th one, which is the last one, the one I have used here before, which is this very one. I want to end it with it. So what do we achieve with this? This make, I hope you are right, you know, this make table. This make table scrollable. This make table what? Scrollable. So you now know on small devices or screen. You know, by the time let me show us this. By the time we have more record up to the point that as we are coming, once it gets here and we still have more record, this table will display what? A scroll bar that you understand that you can use to scroll while you are cementing. That's what it's saying. That is why we added it there, so that once you get to that point, it will scroll. So depending on the contents. So let me see if I can see if there's any way to be able to get that. I still have more space. So you can try it and probably get back to us in the next class. Just create a table that the content will exceed the viewpoints. Then let's see how it's going to bring it out. So, but what I'm going to do, you know, in our own case here, we added it to a div that is not part of the table, right? So let's just go and add it to the table direct and see what we are going to get. So let's say I don't want to use this here, Control X, and then let's say I am bringing it. So let's go back to the front end and try that stuff we're doing again, whether we should be able to get it now or wait until we get. Okay, so just try it and have more information, but it will allow you to scroll vertically once you fill up the space. All right, so in this case, let's leave it Control Z. Yeah, let it be here. So let the container where the table is scroll, even if you get to that point, so that all the items can still be within it. So in our next class, we are going to be talking about what Bootstrap form. Are you with me? For those that want to research ahead, we are going to be talking about Bootstrap what form.
Okay, sir.
S form. So once we are done with form, that will be the last element that we are picking. You know what we are doing now, just like the way we are learning the manual. You know, we are picking them, we are learning the tag one after the other. Then before we started building the website. So once I'm done with this one, then we will now start the project. That project will not take time because most of the things there, they will be very, very self-explanatory. That's based on what we have gone through. Any question?
No, sir.
All right. Mrs. Oyikosi, are you still here? Flourish,
Yes,
don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. So Flourish, by the grace of God, very soon we are going to increase the meeting time and we are going to fast track the class. I'm working on something. Once everything is perfected, we'll have enough time. We can have our class as when we want to have it. It's not going to be, I understand that I've been delaying some classes, but I'm working.
No, I'm enjoying the class.
You said?
I'm enjoying the class.
Okay. Yes, now because you travel a lot now, so all those weeks that you travel, opportunity, you not keep Mrs. Oyikosi waiting. That's why you are enjoying it. No problem.
Hello,
you don't
sir.
know. Yes, ma.
Sorry to cut you off. Please, this HTML and CSS comprehensive video, please, you send it to us now.
HTML and what?
You know that and CSS, our class there. You know, at the ending parts,
Okay.
I was lost. So my project is incomplete in that HTML, CSS work.
What you are asking now, if I may get you right, all the link
Class
under,
videos.
yes, all the link under CSS and HTML, I should send it to you.
And that JavaScript too.
Okay.
So that we know that it's only this Bootstrap that remain in this web dev.
Okay. All right. So I will do that. I'll do that once I end this class now. Let me send it to you. I have all the list compiled. So let me do that.
Thanks.
All right. So have
Send
a
it
blessed. You said?
Send it to the group, please.
Okay. Yes. All right. So you two, you want it, Abby? Okay. All right. Have a blessed day.
Okay, sir.